With the right to bear arms comes a great responsibility to use caution and common sense on handgun purchases.
The Constitution states the right to bear arms shall not be infringed, which to this day is still statutory. Nevertheless, in reaction to the Stockton, California shooting in 1989, the Roberti-Roos Act, which limited the right to bear arms, was adopted by California to responsibly deal with the issue of gun control in America. It was a regular school day at Cleveland Elementary School in Stockton, California in 1989 when 26-year-old Patrick Purdy, after setting fire to his car, opened fire on innocent school children.
I remember the day of the shooting, being really, really scared and, not knowing if I was going to die or not. And
5 children died. 27 were injured. Patrick Purdy then shot himself.
I was helping a child who was bleeding, trying to stop her bleeding. Any direction I looked, there were children down with other teachers trying to help them.
The shooting, in total, lasted only a minute and a half.
So if you've got a target-rich environment full of children, you have a target.
Patrick Purdy was mentally disturbed. As a child, he attended Cleveland Elementary School. During this time at home, he was neglected and eventually moved to various foster homes. As a teenager and adult, he acquired a criminal record and was an alcoholic. Yet, he still managed to walk into a store and walk out with an AK-47 assault rifle. All the children that were killed were Southeast Asian and had parents that were Cambodian and Vietnamese refugees. Therefore, many thought racism was Purdy's motive. However, 71% of the school's population were Southeast Asian. Carved into the stock of his gun were the terms Freedom, Victory, and Hezbollah, a name of what many consider a terrorist organization. His motive is still unclear today. Sadness and panic erupted in the town of Stockton due to the tragedy.
The city came together like never before. People attended the funerals, held vigils, sent cards, teddy bears, 1,000 paper cranes, and gifts of all sorts. The city officials and citizens wanted the families to know that their pain was shared by all. Judith Weldon, survivor of the Stockton shooting.
The citizens and government officials decided to take responsibility with the gun control issue in California, specifically 2 men named David Roberti and Michael Roos.
Everybody has a responsibility to, ensure the safety.
State legislature David Roberti and Michael Roos created a law called the Roberti-Roos Assault Weapons Control Act of 1989. It listed many assault weapons that were banned. This included the weapon that Purdy used. However, there were exceptions. People such as gun dealers could register to own and sell banned weapons, although there were limitations on who or where they could sell. Also, any antique assault weapons were not banned. The legislature hereby finds and declares that the proliferation and use of assault weapons poses a threat to the health, safety, and security of all citizens of the state. David Roberti once said, he got a note in his office that 5 little schoolgirls at Cleveland Elementary School in Stockton had been shot and killed by some deranged man, and you could tell it visually shook the governor up. It probably didn't hurt that I was in the office at this time, so we pushed the bill and we won by 1 vote. Without that terrible incident, we wouldn't have won. Some say that the Roberti-Roos Act had no effect.
It wasn't effective.
Yeah.
I mean, do I care about it one way? Frankly, I don't think it did anything. And to me, if you pass laws that have no effect, then people have a disrespect for the law. It's like, so what? if you're going to make a law, it should be obeyed. It should have penalty. It should make sense to the people that are following it. All those things have to be part of a good law for it to work.
After all, the year following the act had almost no difference in gun-related crimes. However, the Roberti-Roos Act created a gun control rave in the 1990s. The act created a precedent for 1990s laws in not only California, but America. From 1993 to 2009, California's gun mortality rate declined by 53.2%, 23.1 percentage points more than the decline in the rest of the country, according to CDC data. The Constitution is the guide which I will never abandon. George Washington. The Constitution is the foundation for America. Yet, many laws and organizations challenge the Constitution every day. This has sparked the gun control debate. Many thought that the Roberti-Roos Act challenged the Constitution. By definition, infringe means to do something that does not obey or follow, to wrongly limit or restrict. Since the people refers to all of the American population, the Roberti-Roos Act clearly limited it. But was it wrong? From history to present day, people have varied their opinions on gun control. The Roberti-Roos Assault Weapons Control Act of 1989 was the best idea to help resolve the issues regarding responsible gun ownership at the time. Judith Weldon, survivor of the Stockton shooting.
That in this age of technology, we should be able to check someone's criminal records before he or she can check out at a gun show. That if we work harder to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people, there would be fewer atrocities like the one in Newtown.
What good does it do to ban some guns? All guns should be banned. Howard Messenbaum.
I do believe that people have the right to own a firearm, provided they're not mentally incompetent, they're not substance abusers, they're not criminals. There's a whole list of not ifs. I mean, we don't want bad guys to have guns. But once that firearm leaves the home, I don't see a problem with some of those requirements, depending on the area where it is.
The incident at Cleveland Elementary School was a horrific tragedy, and I believe the Roberti-Roos Act was a common-sense step to keep weapons of war off our streets and prevent gun violence. Nita Lowy.
They were met with opposition as one lone protester picketed out front in support of a ban on so-called assault weapons.
Something snapped in me, and I have to say something.
But as far as having the assault weapon bans and everything else, I don't agree with it. Again, I actually spoke against a bill here in California that's very similar to the Roberti-Roos, and it kind of goes along with it.
There are no dangerous weapons. There are only dangerous men. Robert A. Heinlein.
Waving flags and carrying signs to support their right to own firearms, hundreds of protesters gathered in Huntington to express their dissatisfaction with strict new gun laws.
The story of the Stockton shooting and Roberti-Roos Act were just part of the continual pattern of the pendulum regarding rights versus responsibilities in gun control. The debate will live on as long as tragedies like Columbine and Newtown live on in American history.